Welcome back, parents. I'm so excited to be embarking on another day with you. So today, we are going to explore this whole idea whether good parenting is a natural instinct or not. The traditional parenting paradigm holds that parenting should be natural. I mean, this is what I thought when I became a parent, that I would just naturally know how to respond to my child and that I would just instinctively know what to do. Well, the truth is, I was responding out of instinct, but this was a problem. There was too much instinct and not enough awareness. I was really responding from a very primal place, a conditioned place, without real consciousness or thought. You know, instinct by nature is primal, and this is part of the problem. It goes against consciousness. Perhaps because becoming a parent is linked to our biology, we tend to somehow believe it will be a naturally flowing phenomenon. And because conception and birthing, of course, occur on their own natural clock, we believe that somehow the entire process of parenting is going to just unfold naturally. But then, when we have the children, we realize, holy moly, I don't know what to do here because my instincts are not helping me. In fact, the instincts are creating a problem. And it is then that we realize, perhaps, that maybe we need to learn parenting, that this is something that we need to consciously take on and cultivate. Not just with one child, it really becomes a matter of learning how to parent with each of our children. You know, because we've never met this child before. I mean, we've literally never met this soul before. How can we just know how to respond? We soon realize that in order to parent well, we need to grow into it. We need to awaken into it. So to think that we should just know how to respond to our children is really quite irrational. It's even illogical. And more than anything, it sets us up for failure and great frustration. Because this way of thinking that we should just be natural at parenting is the very reason that most of us, especially mothers, feel a tremendous sense of guilt and shame when we don't meet this ideation of perfectionism. You know, if only we had understood and really appreciated that before having kids, that we were going to be embarking on one of the steepest learning curves ever, that we were going to have to slow down and really learn, and more than anything, unlearn old instinctive patterns, that we'd have to learn how to respond to each child before us uniquely, moment after moment after moment. If we had known that, then we would have been better prepared and wouldn't feel all the shame and guilt if we didn't hit the mark of perfection. So let's change the paradigm right here. Let's release this entire notion that we should just know what to do. And let's re-embrace a new paradigm that to parent consciously requires a dedicated cultivation of a daily and moment-by-moment awareness. You know, a conscious parent is not just born with their first child. It is an ever-evolving, ever-unfolding process that the parent has to go through, not only with their first child, but every subsequent child, and that this unfolding needs to be taken in the moment. So this changes moment by moment. It's not that you understand it and you perfect it and then you just know what to do for every moment hereafter. So it begins with the undertaking of a conscious decision, a decision that we are going to see this journey as one of awakening, as not one of an immediate knowing, but of an awakening of the knowing. A conscious parent is born from the decision the parent makes to evolve by shifting their ways of thinking, doing, and being, and by making that profound and deep commitment to awareness and transformation. So it is going through and unfolding moment by moment with their children that parents begin to look into that mirror. They begin to see their own wounds. They begin to see their childhood baggage. And moment by moment, through the attunement with their children before them, the parent begins to remember that consciousness is not a perfect destination. It is not this utopic place that you end up at. It is a commitment to an everlasting journey. So do you see now how this new conscious parenting paradigm can allow the parent to feel an immediate release of pressure, perfectionism, shame, guilt? And quite naturally, the moment the parent feels this relaxation, that they're not supposed to be perfect, then they will project this ease and relaxation onto their children. Then they will look at themselves through the eyes of compassion, release, and forgiveness, and look at their children with the same eyes. Have you ever wondered how it is that we have to take courses to undertake almost every profession? Yet parenting, one of the most pivotal tasks we will ever undertake, requires no licensing or professional education. To marry, you need a license. To drive a car requires passing a test. To be a hairdresser involves training. And getting a job, a myriad of interviews. So why then does becoming a parent take nothing more than two consenting adults engaged in a very short-lived act of sexual intimacy? If any aspect of our life demands the highest ability to stay present, grounded, emotionally available, regulated, it's parenting, isn't it? So take the act of yelling, for example. We all know we shouldn't yell at our children. Despite knowing this, almost every parent is guilty of yelling at one point or the other. So you see, what I'm trying to say is that knowing something intellectually is very different from integrating it into one's life. Knowing something cognitively is one thing, but practicing it is completely another thing. You see, no one told us that to parent consciously, we would need to do all this inner work, that we would need to build our emotional repertoire, that we would need to heal our inner wounds, that we would need to raise ourselves through the act of consciousness. As we awaken, we realize that to parent consciously involves a whole different set of skills. It involves a lifelong commitment of change and growth moment by moment. And this is exactly why we're here together on this quest. I'm here with you, not to give you yet another new parenting theory or concept or a big set of strategies that you have to intellectually implement, but really I'm here to help you realize that when you develop the conscious skills that you need to evolve, to become your most conscious self, that's when you're going to just automatically be the most present for your child. As you begin to train up your conscious parenting muscles, so to speak, then you learn to stop parenting out of that old, unconscious, instinctive way, and you're going to replace that instinctive, primitive way of interacting with your children with new skills. You're going to replace instinct with intuition. So in yesterday's lesson, we came to realize the power of patterns that we adopt from our childhood and how we have been unconsciously reliving these patterns over and over. It is through the awareness of our past patterns, as I talked about yesterday, that we can become consciously attuned to the present moment with a greater vigilance and presence. You know, when we let go of this idea that we need to be genetically coded with good parenting genes and then feel the sense of utter disdain and shame when we're not, we need to realize instead that conscious attunement with ourselves and our children is a daily cultivation and practice. We begin to see the present moment as this vast new window of opportunity to shift our patterns and to connect with our children. You know, the jewels of good parenting is in its focus on the present moment, where we let go of conceptual theories and strategies and intellectual ideations of how things should be, and instead we give our full presence to how things truly are, right here, right now. You know, instead of being tuned into our unconscious agendas and expectations, now we shift and we begin to tune into our children's essence. Instead of focusing on yesterday or tomorrow, no, we enter the present moment. We enter the now, and it's here that we meet the spirit of our children with undivided focus. We ask, what is my and my child's energy in this present moment? This is what it means to attune. We begin to ask, who is my child right now? We begin to examine, how can I better connect with them in the here and now? You know, when you shift from the should to the is, you make a drastic shift in your capacity to connect with your children. And this is what conscious attunement is about. It is a very specific conscious parenting skill that teaches you to be open to all your senses in the present moment, asking that we are aware of the emotional energy, you know, our energy, that unspoken, nonverbal energy that you're bringing to the moment. Become aware of it. What is my body language? What is my tone of voice? What are my hidden agendas in my speech? Not only does conscious attunement allow us to be more aware of our own innate energies, it allows us to shift our frequency, so to speak, and tune into the vibration of our children's energies. It allows us to pay attention to our children in a completely new way. You know, in the past, in the old parenting paradigm, we've been trained to listen to our children's words, to their behaviors, to their actions, and we call them good or bad, and we punish or we praise. But here, we're no longer just focused on their outer behaviors. We now focus on their energy, their non-verbal energies. And as much as their verbal energies are paid attention to, we also now focus to that is unspoken. You know, are they lit up or are they withdrawn? What is their body posture like? The slump in their shoulders, the dragging of their feet. Do they sing in the bathroom, for example? We begin to pay more and more attention to ourselves and to them, but beyond the senses. We enter the realm of this deeply attuned, energetic, and non-verbal communication. All it really requires is a deep presence on the part of the parent, the ability of the parent to enter the present moment. It requires so much from us, but really simply put, it is a conscious shift and awareness from the outer world and the mayhem of talk and speech and noise and behavior to the inner reality, our inner reality and the inner reality of our child. As we begin to turn our awareness inward, we begin to notice things that we had never paid attention to before. As we begin to tune inward, we begin to slow down. We become aware of the breath, body language, as I talked about, the energy. And in this manner, we allow ourselves space, inner quietude and space to enter the present moment and take stock of our children in a way we have never done before. You know, most of us just want to know what to do. I can't tell you how many times after a workshop, people just come up to me, parents, and they say, Shivali, can you just tell me what to say? Just tell me, and they have their pen and they're all ready to write it down. Because we all want to live in the land of the known. No one wants to live in the unknown, yet we come to realize, if we're conscious and wise, that raising children is an eternal landmine of the unknown. One landmine of the unknown after the other. Raising children is an organic process. They're ever evolving, ever shifting, moment after moment. So to look for a strategy or a stock reply or the 3 golden keys is irrational. In conscious parenting, you know, we come to realize that there are no predictable tools or strategies. We cannot rely on stock replies, stock techniques. Instead, the conscious parenting model challenges us, trains us, helps us cultivate the capacity to truly live in the present moment. Conscious parenting makes us fully aware of the power of the present moment. We can't check out, can't pretend, can't deny or suppress. Well, we can, but we are being asked not to. Because we realize that when we do miss the present moment, then we miss out on the opportunity to connect to the essence of our children before us. So I will be reminding you about this power, the power of the present moment, all through this quest, because that's how powerful a portal for growth it is. I always tell parents, no matter what you did yesterday or 10 years ago, you are here right now with your child. How are you showing up right here, right now? Are you showing up with the highest vibration of abundance and attunement? Or are you showing up with remorse and guilt and lack and scarcity? It is here, my dear parents, in this present moment, that you can turn the entire tide of your relationship with your child. So, in today's task, in the name of consciously attuning to our children, I'm going to invite you to truly observe and notice your child in an entirely new way. We're going to observe rather than jump to instructions and commands and orders and sermons like we usually do. Today, I'm going to ask you to step back and shift your focus on your child's inner being. How are they in their essence, naturally, without interference of your commands, your dictates, your programs, your schedules? This will require you to pay attention to your children in a very different way. You will have to slow down, take deep breaths, and ground yourself in your own body. Now, through the day, you could use your journal to record how it's going, write down your observations, and any interesting awareness you may have around what it means to connect to your child's essence. A suggestion for you to get attuned easier is to really declutter your day-to-day, so it allows you to slow down. Because in order to consciously attune, we need to enter the present moment mindfully. And this takes a lot of slowing down, simplifying, and decluttering. In every moment, remember, enter your breath, slow your pace, enter a silent and peaceful vibration from within, and then seek to connect to your children. And whenever you realize that you're getting triggered or you have a strong feeling or strong reaction, take a moment, take a break, return to your breath, and realign with the present moment. I'm so excited for you to experience your day today in its fullest, slowly and abundantly. And tomorrow is going to be another day where we will continue to train up our conscious parenting muscles. And I will be showing you the first transformative parenting skill in this quest. See you tomorrow.